Welcome into Paul Catalina's Top 5, brought to you by Texas Beef House. These are the top 5 hardest coaches to fire. Now look, we're through the regular season into the postseason, but it's never too early to start talking about coaches who might be difficult to fire if they don't improve their season this next year. Number 5, Kalen DeBoer. Alabama fans have been ridiculously spoiled. They've had the greatest coach of all time for 17 years. Now they get Kalen DeBoer, who's a great coach. He really is a fantastic coach. They go 9-3 in the regular season and lose the bowl game. So now they see how the other half lives, and they don't like it. But it would be really hard to fire him, given that he's probably got a large buyout, which I'm sorry I did not look up. But also, give this dude some time. Give him a minute. He can't just be Saban overnight. And guess what, Alabama? Nobody's going to be Saban again. He left due in large part because the rules changed. So no one can be him again. Just appreciate the fact that you had the one true greatest football coach of all time that will probably never be equaled, and move on and live like the rest of us peasants. That's all you have to do. I know it's hard, but things are still going to be good in Tuscaloosa. Number 4, Mark Stoops. Here's the problem if you're Kentucky. You're an SEC job, so you can theoretically attract good SEC-type coaches. However, really none of them have been successful like Mark Stoops has there. So yes, he had a bad year this year at 4-8, but most of his tenure has been really good years. So if he improves even slightly, you kind of have to stick with him because historically your program just hasn't been that good. And nobody's really been that successful. And this guy's been really successful there and has a chance to maybe do something if he can build some momentum. Number 3, Mike Gundy. Now look, he's in a win or you're done situation. So I know a lot of people in Stillwater don't think it'll be that hard to fire. But he's also the greatest coach in the history of your school, and he's been there a long time, and he played there, and he's kind of synonymous with the program. So firing him will still be really hard. So even if Oklahoma State does not bounce back, and he's got a whale of a job to do, he's got to replace almost the whole roster. He's got to find a quarterback that can actually perform for him. He's got to replace Ollie Gordon. He's got to replace 3 really good wide receivers. He's got to replace a defense that was bad, but he can't afford to let them get any worse. He's got a huge job ahead of him. If anybody can pull it off, it's probably Mike Gundy. But there's tension there. But even if there's tension, it's still going to be hard to scapegoat Mike Gundy completely because he is a legend at Oklahoma State. Number 2, Brian Kelly. This one's not so hard about the record or whatever, but he came in to help them win a national championship. His 3 predecessors all won national championships. Administratively, they're better, but they're not better on the field. And some things that they were great at constantly, defensive back, linebacker, defensive tackle, offensive line, have slipped under his administration. I'm not letting Garrett talk here because he's going to swear. But, and I've never sworn on the show before, ever. I didn't drop the F-bomb just 2 weeks ago. But Brian Kelly, also, here's the reason he's hard to fire. $60 million buyout in a state-run institution that has not always been the best with money. So, for better or worse, for a couple more years, LSU stuck with Brian Kelly. And the same thing goes for our number 1, Lincoln Riley. He came in with so much fanfare to USC, and it has not worked out yet. This is a team that has been, without Caleb Williams, average. And even with Caleb Williams, they were average a year ago because their defense was so bad. Defense got better this year, offense got worse. This is a dude who needs to find some balance. He's never had it. He's had elite offenses and at best passable defenses at Oklahoma and at USC. He needs to find balance, but also massive buyout. Massive buyout. and USC's fired so many coaches recently, they're probably going to have to wait it out. So if you're a fan of any of these 5 guys, or not a fan and you want them to go, it's going to be pretty difficult. That's going to do it for this edition of the Top 5 and this edition of 365 Sports. We'll see you tomorrow.